Doug is a school
Nazi.
marm.
Tom or
Yes.
Doug, can one of you guys tag me on this so we can?
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to do Facebook?
Are we?
10
I hope
seconds.
you know how to do it because my wife is expecting to see this on Facebook Live.
Not Facebook Live. What do they call it?
Watch party.
Watch party. Yeah.
I don't know.
Doug
how to
asked
do
the same question.
Hello.
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 Guys, can you get our show started?
Oh, we're on. Let's just yell into the mic, Doug.
What did he say?
Yell some more. Hi, you've tuned
No.
into the fun.
No, they haven't yet. Not until I
He
say
gave
they
us
have.
the okay.
Not
You want
until
the
they
store
say I
closed?
have. They say
Yeah.
it, and I never see us. So can you just wait? We may have begun, but you can't.
Don't
trust what
say
these people
wait
tell you.
to a fat guy.
I'm gonna
Abby
reload.
says
We're gonna
we're on.
see.
So anyway, for those
Not
who-
anyway, guys. I don't see us
I'm
on.
talking to our guests. Shut up.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Pat. How are you?
I want
Okay.
to start the watch party.
It's like Good Cop, Bad Cop with Tom and Doug.
Yes, that's the next show we're going.
Why do you think you've begun it?
So this is Funny Talk with Mongelli
It's
and
not
Max.
that funny.
We are on, although Doug doesn't realize it.
I don't think we might be recording.
Okay,
But we're
so
not on our Facebook page, so we're talking.
I'm
to
going to
nobody on
talk as if
Facebook.
we're on the air.
Okay, well we are on the air.
Okay.
Just not on Facebook.
So
Can I
today,
yell at the guy? Get us on Facebook.
oh my God, I'm
What
going to.
page you want it on? It was on your page. You want it on your personal page? Or you want
We want it on Funny Talk with
Funny
Mongelli
Talk.
and Max.
This is the wrong page.
Yeah, it was on the wrong page.
Okay.
Where is it?
I put it on the wrong page. It was my fault. Sorry. So anyway, we are
Ruin our show.
broadcasting.
You're going to
by the
ruin
way.
our show. Every show is going to be ruined. If I haven't ruined it, you're going to ruin it. Between the two of us, we're guaranteed.
And ladies and gentlemen, isn't this fun for you at home?
Can someone call 911?
I'm going to start singing opera.
Oh,
If they
don't do
put
that.
us on live. Yeah.
Doug, you got to talk into
So
the
anyway,
mic.
this is
We're not
funny.
on.
This is Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max, and I'm Tom Mongelli,
And I'm Doug Max.
and he's Doug
We
Max.
got that out of the way. Who are these other people?
We have special guests tonight. We have Jason Pollock. Say hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Jason is a comedian, an actor, and what else are you?
Caterer.
A caterer? Okay.
That's what we all do when we're starving.
Okay. And do you want to introduce your?
My lovely wife, Laura. I had to bring her because you're talking about Lucille Ball, and she's a Lucy nut.
That's great. She's in the right place. And we also have Pat Rocky
That's me.
of the Philadelphia Rockies.
That's right. The Philadelphia Rockies. And yes, I am also a comedian.
The
Right.
Philadelphia Rockies? My
Yeah.
son lives in Philly. There are no mountains in Philadelphia.
I thought Stallone was the Philadelphia Rocky.
No, I live near the Italian market.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, figured with a name like Rocky, I should move into Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
I like getting my food there as opposed to the Whole Foods, or as I call it, holy mackerel. Do you see how much that costs? Jeez.
I can't even afford half foods.
They call it whole
Yeah.
paycheck.
Yeah, that's what some people say. I did buy an avocado there recently, and it's on layaway until the home equity loan goes through.
Can we go back? Is there such a thing as a holy mackerel? I know Jews regard herring with some spirituality, but is the mackerel a holy
Not that I'm
fish
familiar with.
of some sort?
I don't think so. It's I know pollock. We have pollock here, and that's
Pollock,
used in
So,
gefilte fish.
fans of
And-
ours, if
Pollock
anybody
is-
out there knows the origin of holy mackerel, please email us at funnytalkmm@gmail.com.
And why isn't it Holy Pollock?
And since I've taken over the show and interrupted Pat rudely, maybe we should.
No,
we
it's
should
Pat
be
Rocky. It's not
responsible.
Pat Ridley. I think you've got that wrong.
Should we talk about our sponsor? Or you want to forget?
Yeah,
it?
no, I think we should mention our sponsor
should.
is Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. Take it, Doug.
If you want a comedy show, a fundraiser, contact Jack at jirwinproductions.com for all your comedy needs.
Jack is one of the nicest people. I love that guy.
Isn't he great?
Yes.
And
Anybody who considers me a minor celebrity.
Well, you look like you're over 21, so I doubt that you're a minor celebrity.
Oh.
and we'll mention
Yeah,
Jack
I'm
is
still 3 years away from that mandatory colonoscopy. So.
Oh my God. Thanks for bringing up that memory.
Oh, please. Yeah, it's tough. I had one recently. It's around Halloween. They tried to make it a pumpkin spice one, and I said no. Said no.
Oh my God.
It's that time of year. It's the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Doc, if you want to put up the posters of the shows Jack has coming up, that would be lovely.
So we're going to be talking today about Lucille Ball, groundbreaking producer, actor, actress, comedian, TV impresario.
Chocolate manufacturer.
Grape stomper.
Great.
Grape Stomper. Yeah. Lucy's Italian movie.
A lot of great memories with Lucille Ball. And we're also going to mention, Doug is going to mention in a little while, about his famous dad, Bob Max.
Who?
And this is a Veterans Day shout out to Bob Max, 96-year-old Bob Max. And Doug will talk about him and his contribution in World War II and his recent awards that he's won. And Laura's going to tell us all about I Love Lucy and Lucille Ball. And she's very shy, so we're going to have to bring her out of her shell.
And real quick, there's a wonderful production of comedy for those of you in New Jersey or New York, the 76 House in Tappan, New York, December 12th, with the wonderful comics Paul Goldenberg, Robin Fox, and George Saltz.
I did a show there at Jack's room. Have you been there?
I think we've all
The
done a
place
show
is
there.
300 years old.
Yeah, and it's
in three-
haunted.
It's haunted, but what bothers me more, not so much the haunting, is that in 300 years, they couldn't put a divider between the urinals in the men's room.
Oh, is that right?
Oh.
Nobody thought of that. In 300 years, if your restaurant is 300 years old, I want perfect service, perfect everything. You should have that nailed by that point.
Were you pissed?
Hey,
On,
wait a minute. I
because-
thought this was a family-friendly show.
You should see my family.
For those of you watching right
Sorry,
now,
sorry, audience. I didn't mean to be funny.
it's separated Italian and Jews the way the
Oh,
table
that's
is
right.
going.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that.
we
wait,
didn't do
Laura-
that
Laura-
intentionally.
I would belong.
It's like
Oh, no,
junior
Laura
high.
belongs on the other side. I didn't marry a Jewish woman. I married, I have too many in my family. I could not bring another one in.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, it's awful.
And also, on November 21st,
Yes.
Thursday night at the Closter Elks.
Closter.
Closter Elks. I was
Cloister.
close. I was
You were
closer.
closer than.
On Thursday, November 21st, wonderful comic Sandy Ellers,
Oh, I love Sandy.
joined by some other comics of the area, Ritu Chandra, Alex Barnett, and Jackie Byrne.
That's a good show.
So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, except I'm not on it. So it could be don't you think every show would be made better with me?
Only if you weren't so difficult to work with, but yes.
See, Doug is great for any show because he makes the other comics look so much
How
better.
am I difficult to work with?
The way you're looking at me right now, young man.
So anyway,
You need a comic to bring the room down when you have a lot of other sucky comics. Every sucky comic wants an even suckier comic, and there's a need.
you do.
Well, thank
we'll
you.
come
Well,
through
thank you
with
for
it.
doing that, Doug.
Well, and I know my role, and I do it well.
You know, we make fun of Doug, and I make fun of Doug, but he's a lot better than I make him out to be.
You are. I was. I am. You were there once when I got a laugh. I might have gotten 2 laughs. That
You know,
show.
we did a show together. We did a show together where I did his material and he did my material.
Yeah.
He was bamboozled because people were laughing. He didn't know what the noise
No,
was.
I said, what are these sounds I'm hearing? That's laughter.
I remember when you used to do our new talent nights, I couldn't get you off the stage because you wouldn't leave, so you got to laugh.
Also, I
He's
remember
still there.
the Comedy Cove. I asked some people in the front row to shoot me with a rubber band when the light turned red, so I wouldn't get. I was so into it. You know. Oh, so people, Jason Pollock is responsible for why your evening is being ruined by whatever I'm talking about. He was the first person I ever talked to in the professional comedy world. Arranged to book myself on a new talent night at a club that will no longer book me, even though I won their first comedy competition.
You beat
But
me.
I think I don't know if it's because they just don't like me.
I think it's because they don't like you.
I'm 10 minutes away I can be there and they should like me more, and I get laughs.
Well,
I gotta laugh. I
you
get
can
to
be there in
laugh.
5 minutes, which is the reason for the restraining order.
Did I not offer you a gig
You did.
tonight?
Yeah,
I offered
did.
you one.
And I haven't heard from them. And I see other comics that they have on who suck compared to me.
Hey,
which is
I'm
honestly
sitting right
true of-
here.
Except for Tom.
They do.
No, you know I'd never. You're the only comic in the entire state that I like. Not entirely.
What's
I like
the state? The
Jason.
state of
me and Pat?
confusion?
Pat, I don't know that well yet. I've only seen her perform one time, and he did well, which pisses
Thank
me
you.
off. I hate performing with comic. What?
With comics?
You can't hear me now?
Now I hear you.
I'm sorry to hear that.
How much
I
longer
could
do
talk
we
about Lucille Ball all night. My goodness.
So, what are some of your fond memories of Lucille Ball?
I got to tell you, you said we're split up between the Jews and the Italians. I love they had that whole arc on I Love Lucy where they went to Europe.
I love that.
And the Italian grape stomping scene.
Oh,
the
it's
name of
priceless.
the name of the episode is Lucy's Italian movie, and she thinks that to get into an Italian
Sour
movie,
grapes.
yeah, the movie was Sour Grapes, and they thought that. She thought that if she could master grape stomping, she could get into it. Well, they brought in this actress named Teresa Torelli D'Amico. And
She looked like every one of my aunts.
oh my God, she was only 3 years younger than Lucy,
Oh,
and she
really?
looked like. Lucy was like so great looking,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she looked like Ernest Borgnine. This woman, I mean, she was really
Well,
built like
Lucy
a
was
lime dog.
was beautiful when she
Oh,
was
she
younger.
was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at her, and she had her baby. She had little Ricky at age 41. I had a vasectomy, so I couldn't have kids at, but when I was 41, and I wasn't even bearing them at the time. I mean, she was just in fabulous physical condition, and
Yep.
she was a great dancer.
Yep.
So she did this scene. Well, the woman, Teresa, who was playing the grape stomper, took it like kind of seriously. There was this myth that went around that the woman didn't know how to speak English. She spoke English very well. She hosted a radio show in Los Angeles. You better speak English
Yeah.
if you're hosting a radio show.
Well, it doesn't help me and Doug.
They have the scene where Lucy falls and this woman gets on top of her and holds her nose in the squashed grapes. And
I hate when
Lucy
that
said-
happens.
Oh, it happens all the time. And Lucy said, it felt like I was stepping on eyeballs, stepping on those grapes. But it's such a classic scene because you hear the audience go nuts
Oh,
with
yeah.
it because it seems so impromptu. And Lucy just gave herself over to this woman, and
I have to say she was amazing at physical comedy.
She was a good sport for what she put herself through, too.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. I remember when she died, and they had a bunch of celebrities on television. Sid Caesar was one. He looked like he was shell shocked, and he said Lucy never gave up her femininity in the work that she did, and that's the truth. She always looked great, regardless of what she did.
Right.
And she put herself through it. And she had started as a dancer, so she had great physical gifts. The first person to recognize her gifts was Buster Keaton.
Oh, I read that.
Yeah, and he got her into movies, and she had a really nice movie career. She was called the Queen of the Bee Actresses, but
Okay.
her career had to go nowhere. She wasn't going to rise above it.
Were
so
there a
they
lot of
said-
movies about bees?
Yes, there was. There were, and she was a killer bee at one point.
I see.
So Laura, you're an I Love Lucy expert supposedly. Do you have a favorite episode or something of what she did?
Well, I'm not an expert,
I
but
guess you're
I like
done.
Now
the
you
op-
for our show you are.
for here I am, the operetta. when the girls' club puts on an opera, and she had spent the money, so to rent the costumes and everything, she wrote checks, and then as the checks were bouncing, the people were coming to take away like the scenery and stuff.
We
Oh,
are the queen of the gypsies.
That's it,
Gyp,
exactly.
gyp,
I
gyp,
love that.
gypsy.
I love that. That's really a favorite. I love that episode.
Same question, Jason.
She looked like my Aunt Vincenza in that
Pretend
scene.
you have a favorite episode.
My one of the ones that stick with me is because I related with it so well is when they were trying to bring up the TV upstairs together.
Downstairs.
Downstairs. I meant downstairs. They were on. Well, I know from the picture
That's
we
another
have,
story.
and they were on the stairs with the TV, and I couldn't tell if they were going upstairs or downstairs because it's a photo.
Like an Escher painting.
Like an Escher.
That's another
Laura got
story.
me into I Love Lucy when we got
So
married.
my favorite of all time always was the scene with Harpo.
Harpo
Yeah.
I
Marx.
just
Yeah.
thought
like
that
that
was
one.
absolutely masterful.
Yeah,
I'm
it was.
trying to figure out the beginning of it, but I think it was her friend Caroline was visiting Hollywood, and Lucy told her that she was going to meet a lot of famous people like Clark Gable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Crikey, my
anyway,
dear.
she had to hide. They couldn't come, so they had to hide
couldn't
Caroline's
come.
glasses.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
she
my
would
problem
believe it
with
was Clark
Paxil.
Gable, and then Lucy pretended to be Harpo, but then the real Harpo ended up coming,
Right.
and that's how they did the.
Right.
Yeah, they duplicated that
Everything.
scene that he had. Harpo had with Groucho in
With
one
Groucho.
of his
Right.
one of his
But
movies.
somebody told me, was it you, Laura, who said they didn't get along? Harpo and Lucy did
No,
not?
it wasn't
I
me.
said it.
You
Oh.
said.
I said, and because Harpo knew the bit so well, he couldn't understand why they had to rehearse it. And every time he did it differently, and she couldn't keep up with him.
Right.
But
Well, that's one of the things about Lucy is that they had great writers
yes,
on that show.
Yeah, they had
and
great-
she's basically an actress, not a comedian.
yes.
So she had heavy reliance on the other people's written words.
Yes, and she had good physical
direction.
skills, and she had great empathy as an actress. What she knew she couldn't do, and this was a self-avowed weakness of hers, she couldn't improvise. So she couldn't
Right.
keep up. So they really did that scene a lot and edited it together. But it is a lovely scene. And at the end, when the trick is revealed and they embrace each other, it's just so genuine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a great.
Was
great
that
Well,
scene.
the mirror scene?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
like they did in Duck Soup. They were
Duck Soup,
Yes.
right?
yes.
Well,
Thank
she
you.
was in a couple of Marx Brothers movies.
I think was it the
was?
big store? I think it might have been the big store.
I think so.
Oh, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's,
I heard. Weren't you telling me she didn't get a lot of the jokes? She didn't understand why it was funny. She would do it anyway, but she would just kind of.
Yep.
she didn't.
Sounds like
yeah,
Margaret
yeah.
Dumont
Yeah,
in that way.
Poor
Speaking of
Margaret
Marx
Dumont.
Brothers.
But she said she was brave. She said more than funny. She was brave. They would tell me whatever they told me to do, I would do. Like I
She was
completely-
courageous not only on camera but off camera with her running of Desilu Studios.
Yeah. She
So you were
was.
telling us she saved one of my favorite TV shows of all times.
Yes, tell me that story, Tom. one of the shows that they filmed at Desilu Studios was Star Trek.
Really?
Yes, and
Yeah.
after the first episode or two,
Oh, Lucy, I'm home.
Lucy.
they were going to cancel the show, and Lucy retooled it so that they can keep it on the air, and the rest is history. I mean, it became
When
phenomenal.
I was a freshman in college, we did a farce of Star Trek called Star Trek. I was Scotchy, so I walked around with a Scottish accent drinking a bottle. Our transporter room was one of the bathroom stalls in the dorm room, and so we'd set up the camera.
What's that?
We'd what?
I don't know. Something popped up. I didn't mean to interrupt your fascinating story.
Who got to play Bones? Who
So
got to play the doctor?
it's playing. We're good. So
Okay.
If
so
you were Scotchy,
um,
was it Boner?
So actually, a friend of mine who's a judge now. Anyway, so we'd go in we'd go in the bathroom, sit on the toilet, and then we'd close the door and flash the bathroom lights, turn off the camera, open up the door, turn the camera on again, and the person would
Doug-
be gone from the toilet stall.
Doug, did you lick the windows on the short bus?
You played
And-
Star Trek in the bathroom?
And our trailer was we took a black notebook and sprinkled salt on it, and then took a little tiny cutout of the Enterprise and slid it across so it looked like it traveling through space, but it cleared all the salt behind it.
You were like
I have
Ray
to get that.
Harryhausen.
I have to get that. We have to play that.
Harryhausen.
Who, what?
And
Well, I don't know why you're on the
Was
show
this
with
like
me. You
a
know I'm
community
deaf.
college production?
You know I'm
or
not going to be
what
able to
was
hear
this?
anything
You
anybody
did junior
says.
high school.
Yeah,
Doug,
really.
put your
Okay, they're
headphones-
talking.
Put your headphones on.
He said Harryhausen.
Harryhausen? Harry.
Yeah, but what's
Okay,
Okay.
we're talking about Lucy, not Harry whoever. Back to Lucy. Little Ricky. We're going to talk, and you guys got to meet Little Ricky.
Yes, he
Tell
called
us.
Laura beautiful.
Keith
Okay.
Thibodeau?
That was him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am king of
Very
trivia,
good.
ladies
Okay, and that's our
gentlemen.
talking about Little Ricky.
When
Now
it comes
back
to
Lucy.
trivia, you're full of it.
I'm full of it for a lot of reasons, but
Okay, so another favorite episode of mine.
The Star
Was
Trek
the,
Lucy mass-up. I think that would have been amazing.
This is
Oh, yeah.
Lucy, not Star Trek.
I think she could have been on the Enterprise.
You want to
been a
see
great
Doug's head
show.
explode? Let's just talk about Star Trek the rest of the time.
So Lieutenant Uhura on our show was we called her Lieutenant Ubangi,
See, he
and we
could-
gave
Oh,
her
my
I'll
Okay.
talk about it, but
Family
we can't.
friendly.
we gave her a
family
magic
friendly.
marker to
really.
stick in her ear as the transporter thing.
Oh my
you know how
God.
Lieutenant Uhura used
Yeah.
to? We gave her
Let's-
like a Sharpie magic
I think
marker.
we should go back to Tribble Talk.
well, if we're going to talk about
Okay, John Wayne, the Hollywood Square, the Hollywood star.
no,
where
Paul
she
Lynde
got
was in
the-
Hollywood
John Wayne was
Squares.
never on
Where
Hollywood
she-
Squares.
Where what did she end up with? She ended up with the Hollywood star, and she broke the concrete
Oh, the-
and had
Oh,
to
the
get
the
John Wayne
footprints
to
and
do
the
it.
handprints.
From Grauman's.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she had to redo it like 4 times.
Yeah, I love that one.
Oh, and the end of the episode was actually John Wayne giving her like 4 or 5 of the casts because
Right.
he knew she was going to mess him up somehow.
Yeah. You think anybody saw that?
And you were talking about the Superman episode?
I like
Yeah.
the Superman episode where she ends up. I
Out
don't
on the
understand.
ledge.
I don't understand why she was wearing a football helmet though.
Because she's Lucy.
Oh, that's
and
true.
things don't make any sense, and she's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
so.
remember. Maybe to protect her in case she fell or something.
Maybe
Do you
What
think
was
there's-
she doing out there?
she was hiding because
Yeah.
the real Superman
Right,
showed
to
up.
come in the window.
Oh,
for
that's
the
right, she was gonna
birthday
come in the
party.
window.
She was going to do a surprise entrance.
Now, what I found
But
interesting.
he really came in the front door.
Yeah.
And so she was happy that he came, but she was stuck outside. That's what it
Exactly.
was.
Now, what I found interesting with the apartment set was some episodes they had a window
I know,
there,
I know.
some episodes they didn't. There was a
didn't, and
piano.
piano.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I'm
it was
like,
supposed to be
that's
the
like
same
the
apartment.
that's like the two Darren Stevens
Yeah.
on Bewitched.
Yeah.
Like we're not supposed to notice.
So
But-
we were talking
George Reese, I guess I'm
beforehand.
not gonna talk.
We were talking beforehand, Tom and I. And so I remember there were I don't know why, but I loved there were many episodes where Lucy would just burst into tears, crying, so whatever, so frustrated. or
'Cause you
upset.
like when
Ricky,
women
'cause
cry.
Ricky would catch her doing something, right?
Yes.
Can you remember any of the times she cried?
This is fascinating radio.
Yeah.
And back to little Ricky.
Do you remember when Lucy cried?
You know,
I
The
want to know
day
why they called
Lucy-
them.
Thank you, Doug.
Like that.
We had a few listeners left.
Hello,
They're gone
Mitch.
now.
Hello, Patrick. Well, 2 are still here.
Okay.
Oh,
Now, little
another-
Ricky, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, another favorite was when she got the loving cup stuck on her head.
That was classic.
That I don't know. That may have been my favorite. When the sheet came
You know
off
what's-
of it when they were in the subway and she can't find
Yep.
Ethel.
Yep, yep.
And it looked like
Oh,
eyes
yes.
with the loving. That is a great.
You know
I'm
what's
sorry, I just
what's
remembered.
what's sad is that we've seen the shows so many times. It's like old hat, but they were groundbreaking with some of the scenarios that they came
Right.
up with. That was real situation comedy.
I think that's why it's timeless. I think that's
Yeah.
why you still laugh today. I
Yep.
mean, to me, it's
Nobody's
very funny.
laughing now. And
My,
this
We're
is
not
Funny
watching.
Talk with Bongelli and Max.
We're
my
not
grandmother didn't speak English, and she
Same with
was alive
mine.
at the time, but she loved that show.
Yep.
My grandmother was easily amused if you gave her a dish full of Jell-O. She thought that was incredible too. But that
Well,
I
so do I.
digress. But she loved Lucy because of the visual aspect of it.
Yep, that's the same appeal of like Laurel and Hardy and
Exactly.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin. I mean, he was so wed to the visuals that when everybody else went to sound, he was still producing silent films because he thought they would ruin it. But Lucy was incredible with her physicality.
Absolutely.
And we talked about how brave she was. Let's talk about the years after I Love Lucy, where she did the Lucy Show and Here's Lucy, and then she did one in her mid-60s, Life with Lucy.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
No, it was like eight
There was
episodes.
also the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, another attempt to salvage her marriage.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he was such a philanderer.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, at least I'll know where you are, you Cuban philanderer. And it's not meant,
Babaloo! Babaloo!
Doug
Mike-
insists on
That's Doug's
singing.
mating call. That's not.
you don't know what's going on under this table, folks.
Oh, no.
What caused him to do that?
And we'd like to shout out to Eric and Sally listening to us from France.
Bonjour. Ça va?
I love your toast.
I want to hear about Keith Thibodeau. What
Oh,
was he
Keith
like?
Thibodeau was also on the Andy Griffith Show, which was also filmed at Desilu Studios.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't know that.
And the
I didn't
Twilight
know
Zone
that.
was too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, can we shift gears a little
Keith
bit from
Thibodeau.
Lucy so we don't run
I
out
wanna
of
see
time?
his head
Because we have
explode.
some other important things to do. One, I would like to congratulate my co-host, Tom.
Congratulations, Tom.
Congratulations, Tom. I'm very happy
I
for
don't
you.
want to say what for.
Oh.
No, I
Tom, my friend lost something recently. What did you lose, Tom?
Your virginity?
15 pounds.
Woohoo!
I joined Weight Watchers
So
again.
he's been on a diet like 10 days. He's
All of a
already
sudden, we're
lost
The
15
View.
pounds. I met him tonight. I haven't seen him in 2 weeks since our last show. I'm waiting in the restaurant for him. He's sitting in a booth like across from. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I was sitting. You had a sideways view. You didn't even see me.
What's your secret, Weight Watchers?
Anyway, well, no.
They
he
call
was
it
actually-
WW now. But I was at the meeting last week. It's more like WWE.
A fight broke out?
I wanted to
Big
get
girls.
Tom involved in my diet program.
I was the only one there with a
What-
penis.
Oh, hey.
Wow. Doug,
That was
what's
a
your
non sequitur. What's your diet so we can stop talking about penises on this family-friendly show?
Family friendly.
Well, French.
What did you
French
say?
fries.
No, for regular listeners of the show know that my father was captured.
What's your
by-
diet? Wait, what's your? Oh.
My
sorry.
father was captured by the Nazis in World War II. He was made. He was a slave laborer for 3 months in a German winter. He was made to repair the railroad tracks. He didn't have a camp. He was sleeping along the road in a German winter, repairing railroad tracks, carrying the railroad ties. When he was captured, he weighed 150 pounds. When he came out 3 or 4 months later, he weighed 90 pounds.
Wow.
Which prompted the Doug Max slave labor diet program. So Tom's been on it for like a week. He's helping me. He's moving railroad ties.
I'm trying to
for me.
stay on track.
Oh.
I like the way you
Thanks for tuning in. This is Funny Talk.
This is the last show.
So my
an honor
father is 96 years old. He had his third bar mitzvah
God
this
bless him.
weekend. You're allowed to. At Jews, you have your first one at 13, and then at 70, it used to be that was a lifetime. So if you lived to be 70 plus another 13 years, you could have your second.
Don't
bar
tell me I have
mitzvah.
to
My
go through
father
that
did
crap again.
Then he did it in 96. His fourth bar mitzvah will be scheduled when he's
110.
109 on July 10th, 2032.
They get closer together the longer you live.
Anyway,
You can get
Yeah.
tickets on Eventbrite.
Anyway, he wrote a book. He wrote a book about his slave labor experience called. We should make up a comedy name for the book, but
It's
can't
called
do
A
it.
Long March Home.
Yes.
I have the copy home.
The
Oh,
long
it is?
Well,
I
march.
didn't
So,
realize.
for those of you listening who want to support
Is that it?
and know somebody whose father was a slave. Anyway, if you want to hear, read The Long March Home and buy it on Amazon. Write a nice review.
Oh, so it's a real book.
It's
Oh,
a real
yeah.
book.
Oh.
And
Doug,
Oh,
tell-
he wouldn't
really
kid about
happened
that
to him.
on a comedy show.
Yeah,
know,
forget
right?
it.
It really happened.
Doug,
Yeah.
be funny.
Way to bring
tell,
down the.
Tell us about all the accolades
mood,
that he had this
the
weekend.
Holocaust.
Oh, so as part of his bar mitzvah, one of the commander of the local American Legion came and presented him with certificates of appreciation and acknowledgement for my father's entire life from Senator Cory Booker, presidential candidate,
Wow.
from Tom Menendez. No, from Tom Malinowski.
Right.
Tom Allen, and he got an American flag that was flown over the Capitol building, and with a
Good for him.
certificate that
That's
says it
awesome.
was flown over. So that'll be up on eBay. I'm only kidding, Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's really neat.
And for those of you watching at home, this is a lesson for you. When you want to do comedy, don't forget to bring up slave labor
And Holocaust.
and the Holocaust.
you
That's-
know how many
I-
comedy shows where I've done like humor from and the other comics love it because they're like, how easy is it to get a laugh after Doug has talked about?
The Holocaust.
But I come from, my father was like peripherally associated with it. He was, he experienced the genocide that went on there.
Well, laughter's a coping mechanism. So, I mean,
Sure.
Absolutely, it is. It's a
Absolutely.
healing. It is healing.
Well, but people talk about the 3 months that he had that was brutal. He was my
Me?
dad. My
Oh,
father
your
was a
dad.
slave,
You mentioned he had gotten down to what
90 pounds.
90 pounds. That
God
was my
bless him.
birth
Good
weight.
for him. That was your birth
That was my
weight.
birth weight.
Also of the
my
northern
mother's still-
beluga whale.
My mother still doesn't talk to me. Actually,
They should have birthed you in what do they do when they birth in water? Right?
that's
What's it called?
the Le Boyer method.
Le Boyer.
I did a
You
book
would have
report
eaten
on
that. If that was a name to food, you'd
What,
be
Charles,
eating that.
as in Charles Boyer?
Yes.
That-
But it actually took 3 whole days for my mother to give birth to me. She was in labor well, that's what they got, Labor Day weekend. 3 days.
Right, and this guy's a friend of yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
That's
Speaking
where they
of being
got
a
Labor Day
slave, I
weekend.
want
Yeah.
to announce here, I just sold my first screenplay.
Oh,
I'm
did you?
really excited about it. You know the movie
Congratulations.
12 Years a Slave? I wrote the sequel to it.
What is it?
It's after he gets out and he goes home to his wife. It's called 12 More Years a Slave. And he says, go clean the gutters. I don't care where you were for the last 12 years. And it was,
Is there some reason why these guys out there make funny talk one word? It's 2 words.
Oh my God, who cares, Doug?
There, ask your father if there's more important things.
Oh, yeah, really.
Can I just say women love that I know where to put my spaces and apostrophes and things like that.
He knows where to put the apostrophe.
That's about the size of it. That's,
That's a
yeah.
good one.
Jason,
I'd
it was
give you
so
one of
nice
those if
having
you were
you on the
next
show. Jason Pollock and his lovely wife, Flora, everyone. Okay, pull the camera in. Doc. Tighter.
So, Lucille Ball.
Oh, I
Who?
forgot we were
Lucille
talking about
Ball.
Lucy.
I'm trying to redirect the conversation.
yeah, was she in slave labor?
I think she was.
Okay, what were some of your favorite schemes that Lucy? I remember the competition where the Ricky said, Lucy, if you can go 1 week without buying anything.
Oh, the lying one was a great one, where she couldn't lie. She had to tell the
Oh,
truth
that was
for
yeah.
24 hours. It was
No,
a
I like
great
the one where she bought the side of beef and she was trying to sell it on
Oh,
roller
yes.
skates.
Right, we do everything but eat it for you.
So
Remember?
wait, where she couldn't buy any? Where was the episode with the chocolate? Was that she was trying to get a job
Right, they were switching
You're right.
places. The men were
Yes,
staying
switching
home.
roles.
Role reversal.
and was little Ricky a baby then? And
I don't think
Ricky
he
I
was
don't think he
around.
was
No.
around.
Ricky?
I don't think it was before him. I do. I don't
Yeah.
think he was born yet.
This is like drunk history. We're trying to remember.
Yeah.
Was that the one with the?
The woman in that scene who ran the conveyor belt was not an actress. She was a real candy person.
No.
Oh.
She was the actress that was in the Susquehanna Hat Company.
Susquehanna.
Oh,
Exactly. The
Susquehanna
one that
Hat
screams,
Company.
she ain't dead lady, she's hiding. He ain't dead lady, he's hiding.
Oh, it's her. I didn't
Yep.
Well, then
know
I
that.
stand
I
corrected.
remember that.
You said
What's the name
correct.
of the
Yeah.
street? The Ideal Street? No,
Bagel Street.
Bagel. Bagel Street.
You're a Jew. You should know Bagel Street. Anyway.
I love the episode where William Shatner and his girlfriend are at the fortune teller machine.
Oh, the
and he,
Twilight Zone one.
Oh yeah, I'm trying
Is that a
to
Star Trek
gear
episode?
No, this
Twilight
is
Zone,
Twilight
but I'm
Zone.
talking about something that I'm familiar with.
What did I tell you when you came on? You wanted to
Right,
know
Strictly Lucy. Lucy.
Strictly-
what is
Lucy.
it? What's the show about? What did I tell
but
you?
Lucy.
it was filmed at Desilu Studios from Twilight Zone, so I thought it was a nice segue.
Actually, I'm not going to go.
He's trying to get us to Star Trek, isn't he?
Yeah,
That's Twilight Zone.
That's Twilight Zone.
He's trying to
But
get
it's
there,
Shatner.
though.
It was a
If
little
Lucille Ball could have been on Star Trek, any character on Star Trek, where would she have been?
I think
The Rock
Captain
Monster.
Kirk.
Yeah, I definitely think she would have been like.
No, I think the salt sucking monster would have been good. You remember that one?
My mother-in-law?
No,
Oh,
it was
sorry.
another one. Her name was Sally or Susie, and she sucked.
Salt.
She sucked.
Sally Susie sucks salt.
Remember, but it was an alien that took on the form of the wife of a guy left on a planet with Lucille Ball.
He doesn't want to talk
Pat,
about
this
Star
is-
Trek.
Yes.
Do you know James Joyce and Virginia Woolf were made famous for stream of consciousness?
Yes.
That's what you're saying. It
That's
doesn't
what
have to
I'm
make any
saying?
sense.
Was I saying that?
This is more like
that's
stream
what
of
you're saying.
unconsciousness, I think.
I think so.
I thought he was asking if that's what I'm saying.
And speaking of great literature, how
Who
about
was-
that Lucille Ball?
Yeah.
You know, she didn't get along with Jack Benny.
I didn't know that. Why?
Well, I don't know that whether they got along or not, but I think she was a little bossy, and he made a comment like you can
I
tell.
hate people like that.
He said a comment to someone like, "You could tell the woman she's got the job." I guess 'cause
Oh.
she kept, so.
On the other hand, Henry Fonda intimated
Oh.
a great love affair with her. They worked on a movie called The Big Street, and he played a busboy who was in love with her.
Yeah.
And when they did the movie Yours, Mine, and Ours in 1968, according to Jane Fonda in a Barbara Walters interview, they were, quote, very close, end quote.
Now, Bob Hope wasn't in that movie?
No,
No.
he was in that other one.
What movie was she?
Oh.
they
Henry
had
Fonda
together?
was sucking face with Lucille Ball in that one.
Yeah.
Forget the
Wow, I don't know.
For you kids at home, that was a callback to On Golden Pond.
You know, we were talking about Bud
Norman.
Abbott doing some serious, or Lou Costello was in a serious role in maybe a Western or something.
Doug, you have to use your blinker before you change lanes.
Do I have to like aim right into it?
Lou Costello started out as a dramatic actor, or he
Doing
tried to.
podcasts.
Really?
Yeah,
That's news to me.
yeah.
But I know a lot about Lucille Ball, not Lou Costello. But anyway.
But anyway, real quick before we
And don't
get
forget
too
to call
distracted.
in, folks, at 609-807-2492 so we can get some outside voices into this one.
I'm Tom Mongelli, and I
Jason,
approve
Laura,
of this
do you have
message.
anything coming up you would like to pitch before we get into our final 15 minutes of the show?
still here.
Laura works Thursday morning.
I do. I work Thursday, the weekend.
I just played a killer Santa in a direct to VHS film called Gift Wrapped and Gutted that'll be out this Christmas.
Really? Now, speaking of movies, the two of us were in a movie together. Do you remember?
That's about on par with the one I just did.
It sounds like
Yes.
it.
And what was it called? Easter
That was called Beaster
Beaster
Day.
Day.
Here comes Peter Cottonhell.
I watched Tom get killed
Yes.
by a giant rabbit.
A 60
I saw
foot,
that. I saw that movie. It was-
60-foot
it
rabbit. I was the
great.
first one in the movie to get killed.
I am absolutely shocked it did not become a cult classic. Every bit as good as Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Every bit. And people could have come to the theater carrying little.
It was a bad
cottontail,
movie.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Just for I don't want to give away any secrets,
don't
but a
spoil
little
the
behind the
movie.
scenes stuff for your death scene, the rabbit wasn't really there. Tom just fell on the ground, and the squish was CGI'd in.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
This had a high enough budget to have CGI.
Oh, you would be surprised.
Well, when you get actors like me and Tom, you have the money for
So
CGI.
why don't you include like Paramount or whatever on your credits?
Paramount?
Who did it?
Paramount.
It's more like
Who did
Minimount.
it? Who did it? You know. Somebody had to do it.
Was that a Bob Gonzo production?
No, it was
Snig something.
Spencer Snig.
Spencer
Snig Productions.
Yeah, why don't you put
Not quite
Snig
Paramount.
Production? You know, it makes me want to just make up names of productions that I've been on because I see all these people. I know they just did bringer shows and they put up the. I'm gonna make up. Why don't we make up a studio, Tom?
Desilu.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Maxi Jelly.
Sounds like a feminine
Maxi
product.
Gel.
It does.
Maxi Gel.
Maxi
Ladies,
Gel.
are you irritable? Scratching a lot? Try new Maxi Gel.
And it's got your face on it. Both your faces smiling, heads touching.
I actually have an odd joke relating to something like that, but
You have an odd joke?
An
an
odd joke just relating to something like that.
That would be odd if I had won.
I remember I couldn't get Doug off the stage for one of the many new talent nights he's done that we kept letting him back to.
I was hearing God speak to me.
Did
So
anybody
I had to go-
explain
I
what
went
the...
on? I went on the I went on the back microphone and did the voice of God and like pleading with Doug
Do
to
you
get off
remember?
the stage.
Do you remember your lines?
I don't.
You were God speaking to Moses.
Moses.
Who sacrificed his son? Abraham.
the hell is he talking
Abraham
about?
was sacrificing his son.
I don't know. Once you get into the Old Testament, you've lost me.
One of
I'm
my
a
first
Catholic.
steps. I've never
Lucy, it's
seen
the
this
Old
before,
Testament.
but I asked him, and he was fine to do it. So I'm Abraham watching my sheep, and then I hear a voice from God. Lucille Ball.
That's not
Speaking
what
of
happened.
Lucille Ball,
Oh, yeah.
she kept her talents going for years. Did you know she had a thing with AR? The letters AR, and all of her character names had an AR combination. Lucy Ricardo, Lucy Carmichael in the Lucy show,
yeah,
and
yeah.
here's Lucy Carter. She had a superstitious thing about the letters AR.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
and she could get away with it because she owned a studio. I
Yeah,
guess.
right.
That's a stupid name. I owned a studio.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
uh-huh.
in.
You know,
Right.
we should come up with something like that. Like when people book us for a show, we should, something odd. I don't know what.
We should
Demand
go-
a purple microphone.
We should
Doug,
go
just be
back.
grateful they're booking you. I mean,
Well, it's
Yeah, I want to press my luck. The way things are going.
Doug couldn't get booked in court.
BO is good letters.
What happened?
BO are good letters.
BO would be good.
BO.
Oh,
B.O.?
I'm okay. It's only allergies.
yo.
was that the voice of God who said that you
Doc,
BO?
Doc, is that CBD oil or are you smoking the real thing?
I'm just joining in. I'm laughing my ass off. You guys are funny.
Oh, now you have no ass.
What?
Sorry for that crack.
Oh, I'm getting tired. What about the rest of you guys?
You guys want to
Turn the other
who's
cheek.
listening?
Have we?
Yes, who's listening?
I've got a note about a
It-
comedy museum. You
Hold
wanted
on,
to
Doug.
talk
This is
about,
something
Tom?
you
Los Angeles, California,
we have listeners in Los Angeles,
Forest, Virginia,
Virginia.
the Russian Federation.
The
Okay.
Russian Federation.
It's like the
What are
word
they
Russian
hurrying for?
Doug, are you married? You might be able to meet someone there.
I'm not married, but I'm in love with a wonderful woman.
Does she know?
Where,
would be
About
who
it.
else?
I've got a new girlfriend. Well, what is it?
No,
It's-
my girlfriend says I'm a stalker. Well, she's not my girlfriend yet. Doc, who else is listening?
We have Uvalde, Texas,
Texas.
Whittier, California, Greenwood, South Carolina, and one more in India.
Nobody,
India.
nobody in
India.
Jersey. Huh?
That one was out.
Jersey?
first.
Oh, yeah, I can do Jersey.
That
Hey,
one-
why do I
can do
want to
Jersey.
break out in
I can
song
do
and
Jersey.
sing
Hold on.
all the lonely?
I can do
people"?
Jersey.
California's on fire and they're listening to our show.
How lonely
Something's got to
and
distract
desperate
them.
would somebody have to be listening to this, Tom? You've
I
been
guess
here.
so. Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you people? Please write in to Funny Talk at Mitch is listening to us from Florida.
Hi, Mitch.
What's
Hi,
wrong
Mitch.
with you, Mitch? He knows I'm a strong,
wrong with you?
I'm a
Number
strong
one-
blues supporter.
Number one New Jersey station, West New York, and Piscataway and Keyport.
Woo!
That's it. That's
West New
everybody
York
else is
sucks.
listening to.
That
it.
means
They were
none of
gonna
my
have a
South
Formula
Jersey
One
people are
there,
listening.
And I don't know what happened. Now we don't have a Formula One race in West New York. I was going to move there so I could see the race.
I lived in Union City. That's the next town over.
And now you live near the Hindenburg.
I live in Lakehurst, where the Hindenburg disaster was. No more Hindenburg. Now I'm the only blimp in
Do
Lakehurst.
people get confused? They come by.
Right.
Do you know where the Hindenburg crash was?
It was Lakewood, wasn't it?
You know, when people hear I'm from Lakewood, they confuse it with. I'm not from Lakewood. I'm from Lakehurst. But when they hear I'm from Lakehurst, they confuse it with Lakewood, like I just did.
Right.
And they ask me about Hasidic Jews. I'm like, well, that's the next town. But I was recently at the Lakehurst Diner, and they stopped serving orange juice.
Why?
I said, why did you stop? He said, it's too acidic. You want acidic juice? Go to Lakewood.
That was the laugh of someone who's heard that joke before, but I love it.
400 times before.
It's
But anyway.
and the Lakewood. What did you the Lakehurst Diner?
You know,
has, they serve Hindenburger on the menu.
Actually, they were-
Is it burned to a crisp? Is that,
No, it's a flaming
Well
it's a
done.
flaming hamburger on a Kaiser roll with German potato salad.
It's excellent.
Yeah, the
Sauerkraut.
customers
good.
like
Very
it, but they
funny.
can't seem to keep it down.
That's so funny.
And my father's book is entitled "The Long March Home," available on Amazon. Please write a nice review of it.
Based on Lucy's movie, The Long Long Trailer.
That's right.
I remember that. That was great.
I
That was a
love
funny
that
movie.
That was great. I've actually fantasized about wanting like a trailer.
I
like
know,
that.
me too.
I
especially
thought that
after
was
seeing
going
that
somewhere
movie.
else.
I wish it would.
Have you ever seen Lucy naked? Because I haven't. She looks good.
You've seen her naked?
Who hasn't? Put
You
in
know-
you put in Google. She was in Celebrity Sleuth.
Celebrity sleuth?
I don't know
Your
that.
notes.
Your notes.
If you put in, if you Google Lucille Ball naked, you could see some topless. What? Who did that? I mean,
This
I
is
heard.
a family-friendly show, remember?
Don't look at me like that, you Holocaust joke maker.
Now, I have an actual Lucy story. My parents went to Las Vegas for the first and only time in the 1970s to the Riviera Hotel. Lucille Ball happened to be there at the. Do you remember when she had the broken leg from the skiing accident? They did that whole thing in Aspen or whatever. Well, she was there at a show that my parents were at. My mother was hell-bent on meeting Lucille Ball. So she had her keepers all around, keeping everybody away.
Your grandmother had keepers, or your mother had keepers, or?
No, Lucille Ball had
Oh, I
keepers.
got confused for a minute.
Yeah.
They had her keepers. Lucille Ball had her keepers.
Had her
right?
keepers and trying to keep people away. Well, my mother took it upon herself to, all the people after the show were going down the stairs to leave. She went up the stairs backwards to go where Lucy was, and she got like this close to Lucy, and the guy says, "I'm sorry, you have to leave."
That's a
She
shame.
tried.
She tried.
know something?
But she pulled a Lucy stunt.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a Lucy.
That's something I think we need to start doing that. When we appear out in public, I think we should have
Keepers.
protectors. Like really.
They
big,
have 'em at the
angry
zoo,
looking
Doug.
people.
Well, I have a friend who was going into the bathroom at a hotel in North Jersey, and it
That's
was
a
in
great
the lobby.
story,
Well, I'm not. Believe it or not,
I
I'm not
love
done.
your
I'm not
stories.
even done yet.
No,
There's
really,
more.
there's more.
And this guy was standing outside the bathroom, and he said, "No, not yet." He's like, "I gotta go." He goes, "Pee Wee Herman's in there taking a dump."
Oh no.
So he couldn't. He had to wait for Pee Wee to come out. I don't know why your story reminded me of this. So Pee Wee came out, and he went in, and he wasn't lying. He inhaled Pee Wee's odor, and he was kind of starstruck by that.
Oh, wow.
Well,
And
that's
your
nice.
story,
Yeah, your story reminded
your story
him of
reminded
that.
me of the.
It reminded us all of that.
Pee Wee
Jason and
Herman's
Laura, thank
bowel
you so
movement.
much for coming on our show. Hey, everyone. Jason Pollock and his lovely wife, Laura.
The last time,
Well, lovely wife Loretta.
We keep leaving.
Loretta,
We
get
keep
back,
leaving.
Loretta. Speaking of the Beatles, no, I'm just kidding.
Do you remember that episode on Star Trek with the Beatles? No.
It was a Horta, not a beetle.
What?
That was the
Florida.
nerdiest thing you said all night.
We've been
Speaking
holding
of the
it.
Twilight Zone, did you know that Rod Serling was one of the two writers who did the screenplay for the original Planet of the Apes?
Oh, no, I
Really?
didn't know.
Yep.
Really?
He did that boxing movie, though, didn't he?
A Requiem for a Heavyweight.
Yes,
Oh,
he
Requiem,
did.
yeah.
He did.
it on television, and they
Yeah.
turned it into a
Yep.
movie. Yeah, he won an Emmy Award for it when it was a TV show. But Rod Serling was incredible.
He
but
was
he
really-
wanted to set the world according to his view. He wanted us to all get along and not to be for them, not to have communists and things like that.
Lucille Ball.
Oh, like we're the ones who changed the subject.
I think you asked beforehand what who's controlling things, right? What did I tell you, Pat?
You said
did I
you and
say?
Tom. So I still haven't heard anything about Keith Thibodeau, Little Ricky. What kind of a person was
Oh,
he?
I met him. He was extremely nice.
I would
Apparently he
guess
doesn't
that
do
he's
these-
like in his mid to late 60s now.
Yeah,
I heard he still plays the drums.
I think so.
He's not a big fan of doing these conventions. It was his
It was
manager
his
was telling us
first
like a one-off.
convention.
Is he potty trained?
He is. He's a big boy
How
now.
old is he now? About
He's got, well, like you say, he's probably in his
Mid to late 60s.
mid to late
60s, right?
60s.
Yeah.
I think he's a pastor also, something like
Oh.
that, isn't he?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I was going to wonder, how do you make a living when you've been Little Ricky?
I know.
there were actually a few actors who played Little Ricky at different stages of his infancy.
And
Well,
we
then when
haven't
he was
talked
in
a lot
India.
about Desi at all, and we really
yeah.
should. So who knows
Desi-
anything about Desi other than he was?
I know he was
womanizer?
Cuban.
Womanizer.
That's what we
he-
know about him.
That's what-
He was a talented
Do you know the
musician.
name
Oh,
of
he
his
was.
band?
No.
The Babaloos,
No.
Do you know?
the Congo Bongo Mamas.
Come on, you met one of the guys and he was all over you. Do you know Desi?
Oh, that's Little Ricky.
No,
Little
that's
That-
Desi Arnaz Jr.
Desi
Do you know
Arnaz.
I'm
see
getting
that?
everybody confused. I'm going to stay out of
That's
this
Little
conversation.
Richard. He's a black guy. Jason.
All right, I'm staying out.
Right,
I
I,
tried
met
to
the
contribute.
one,
But
the
he-
Dino Desi. And,
Desi Arnaz revolutionized television.
He did.
He did.
They wanted to do the show, and they didn't want to move to New York. They wanted to stay in Hollywood. They said, "Look, we'll film it," and CBS didn't want to pay for it. He said, "Look, we'll take a cut in salary. We'll film it, but in exchange for us cutting our salaries, we'll get the rights to all the films."
Yep.
And it was brilliant.
And he
Number
was
one
the
is
first to do that.
Yeah, he invented the rerun.
Yep.
He set up the technique
And
by
the
which
three-camera-
Three-camera shot.
technique that they're all shot by today.
Right.
And they got Jerry Seinfeld type money
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Excuse
We
me.
got a call.
Are you telling us we've got a call, Doc?
I am not. I was just checking the callers.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Well, thank you for that.
Did you say chicken?
Checking
Oh.
the callers.
Speaking of Alfred Hitchcock, did you know?
Yes,
Okay,
he
we got
is
to
a
do this for
control,
another
isn't he?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, speaking of dodgeball,
Dodgeball.
was Lucy in the?
Can we speak about meatball? I'm hungry.
I remember, because I'm the youngest one here, one of my first Lucy experiences
You're the
was the anniversary show of Three's Company, where John Ritter had her hosting the show with him. It was a clip show.
I remember that.
I don't remember
Oh, I don't
that.
remember.
I do remember that.
That's my Lucy memory.
Okay.
I like being the youngest one here, even though I'm still 3 years
And
away.
I
from that
hate hearing
colonoscopy.
about it.
Right.
Wow.
How are you so sure you're the youngest one here? Are you saying Tom and I are clearly much older than you?
No, why'd you use the word queerly?
Now, if you cut me in half and count the rings, I'm like 300 years old.
They say that you can tell an age by the like a tree stump. They
Yeah.
count your rings on the scrotum.
On the scroll.
Family
the wrinkles
friendly.
and-
Speaking of Lucille Ball,
You could tell I'm 47. Speaking of Lucille balls,
Anyway, Doug.
so
What,
this,
what are we doing this for?
I don't
Tom?
know. I don't know. But we should have
Hear
a,
Mercury transited the sun this week. That's pretty big news, and there's going to be an impeachment, public impeachment hearing tomorrow. That should be exciting TV. Looking forward to that. Lucille Ball.
apostrophe Dick.
So let's all, for the next 2 minutes, try to incorporate the word "ball" in a sentence.
speaking of Lance Armstrong,
You know what?
We're struggling. This is what's
Now,
I'll
happening.
incorporate
I'm
the word
struggling.
ball. Oh,
You did.
wait.
That was good.
I
did
totally
it
lost my train
already.
of thought. But
Your train's been off the
I'm
track
thinking
for a
of
long
his-
time.
I'm thinking of his apostrophe-sized appendage next to the big ball.
You can't stop thinking
It
about
could be
it.
it could be an apostrophe O, like that will make him Irish. That was
So
Doug
lost.
Mack's quality joke right there.
That was a Doug Max joke. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Tom always makes fun of me for not having punchlines, and I can't argue with him.
Doug, that's my problem.
And I get laughs, and I realize if people are laughing at me and I haven't said anything funny, they're just laughing at me.
They're laughing near
Oh, they're not
Yeah,
just
it's a
laughing at
horrible
you.
feeling. I go home, I'm like, all these people laughed at me. It's a great show. I'm like, no, they don't like me. They were just laughing at me.
Of course. Were you bullied as a kid in school?
I was a smart aleck. I know.
Were you?
I had a fight in sixth
Like
grade.
Bugs
though. I
Bunny,
beat up a
smart
guy that
aleck?
was like a foot taller than me. I
Oh,
was
really?
tough.
Did you?
My mother was a foot taller than you, Doug.
Anyway, we had a fight. He said, "I can beat you up." I go, "No, you can't." Yes, I can. No.
You know, midgets squeak when you step on them.
You can't say midget.
I found that out the hard
Oh,
way.
yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah, you
I
can't say
know. Well, I
midget.
just did. So.
Tom, everything.
Call in at
Family
609-807-2492.
It's a family
Especially if you're a midget,
show.
call
All
in.
you little
Everything
people out
squeaks
there,
when
call
Tom
up Tom
steps
and
on
object
him.
to that.
We have a call
line.
from Short Hills.
Really?
I've had it up to here with you people.
You're starting to sound like Larry King when he announces the. He goes off on a long string and then all of a sudden he turns to the camera. Schenectady, New York.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Bill Shatner, I really liked you in that Piscataway, New Jersey.
Why does he do that?
Because he's senile, that's why.
Oh, my God.
And if you can't say that, I
theoretically,
apologize.
some of you have actually spent an hour with us. I highly doubt it, but some of you might.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, we had to. You didn't.
This is Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max,
We couldn't
sponsored
leave.
by.
J. Irwin Productions.
If you want a comedy show, a fundraiser, contact.
Jack at jirwinproductions.com. And if you need to contact us, if you want to maybe ask about the Bob Max's book, you could email funnytalkmm@gmail.com.
And if you want to write and ask what's wrong with Tom or me or Jason.
And I promise
Pat?
you, if you use Jack Hoffman or Jack Irwin Productions, you won't get any of the comics in this room right now.
Yeah, it's safe. It's okay. You're guaranteed funny.
Yeah, I never met Jack Hoffman, and I think after he sees this show, he's going to keep it that way.
I thought everybody met Jack Hoffman. But anyway, this was Pat Rocky.
That's Pat Rocky, like the movie.
Pat Rocky, you gave us your plugs for your upcoming
No, I
shows.
did not. I
Why don't you
mentioned
do
it at
that?
all. But this Saturday, we're supposed to incorporate the word ball. So everybody's going to have a ball if they come to see me
Wah, wah,
this
wah.
weekend at the Comedy Cabaret in Northeast Philadelphia. This is Saturday the 16th. And then next weekend on the 23rd, I'll be working with comic Dave Evans at the Chicago
Dave
Uno in
Evans.
Maple Shade, New Jersey.
I was just there this
I
Saturday.
just did it last Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun
So
crowd.
we're all getting
So
making the
everybody
rounds.
but Doug was at the Pizzeria Uno, and
Or as Larry King would say, and I really appreciate hearing that, Maple Shade, New Jersey.
I only have a couple of shows to plug. December 20th and 21st, I'll be at Scotty's Comedy Cove in Springfield, opening for Uncle Floyd,
You know who won't be?
the legendary Uncle Floyd. Doug won't be
Doug
there.
won't be there.
No.
I might just come and hang out and see if they'll, you want to go on, Doug? Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Too bad.
But that's about it for now. But
And I'll be at Tierney's in beautiful Montclair, December 15th.
And
That's
next
it for now.
next Thursday, what is that date? 21st, 27th?
Whatever.
Something
Next
like that.
Thursday.
Next
Sounds-
Thursday, not this Thursday,
Do I
Thursday,
look
but
like
next
a
Thursday.
calendar?
I'll be at the Candlelight Theater in Arden, Delaware with Laurie Palmentary and Chris Monty.
nice.
Thank you. And Laura's headlining the Carolines. No, she's not.
And I'll be making
You can see
breakfast.
her at the Creek Mercantile in Rancocas Village selling antiques.
Antiques.
And I'll be
Entities.
making breakfast tomorrow morning.
So anyway, from Hamilton Studios in Robbinsville, New Jersey, this has been Funny Talk with Mongelli and Max.
It's about time.
It's about time. And thanks for tuning in. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Toodaloo.
Thanks for being had.